This is Comet Picks by the Glick.
Hey, and I'm your host, Jason Glick.
Hi, Jason Glick.
Hey, John.
What do you have on tap for us tonight?
Okay, well, it's like I didn't have anything specific or timely planned for tonight. In fact, if I had any sense of timing, I probably would have talked about this years ago, back when I saw the movie in theaters. This is Snowpiercer. Um, well, it's like if you've seen the movie, and I've seen the movie, John, you've seen the movie too, like in chunks.
I have.
Yes. So the general, the premise behind the series is that there's Earth has frozen over in the wake of like a global cataclysm, via war, and that there is a train that is going around the world on a tracks carrying the last remnants of humanity. It's along with it. Now the film, directed by Bong Joon-ho, a Korean director who gave us films like The Host. Because and Okja, I was like, those are his best known films. They're not his only films. In fact, like The Host is great. It's like I can tell you that much. I need to see more of his stuff because I've heard nothing but good things about it. But Snowpiercer, the film, it's like was a great dystopian experience. It's like and had a really really great international cast. So, featuring Chris Evans or Captain America as we know him. It's like Ed Harris, John Hurt, Tilda Swinton, Soon Kang Ho from who I got Korean actor who's done lots of other was acted with Ho in other in Ho's other films. It's like and it's a really weird surreal experience. It's like I mean, like in the sense that you've got the people in the back. The premise is that the people in the back of the train are living squalid, lower class lives, and that they've got to fight their way to the front in order to live better lives and to find some kind of equality because all the good people, all the good stuff is in the front of the is in the front of the train and the movie did a great job in illustrating that struggle and just the surreal vision of a train that is segregated into it is a social structure in of itself. It's like John. It's I mean you mentioned you saw it in chunks. So you you have anything else you wanted to add there?
No, it's just kind of it's hard to imagine, but you go along with it because the story is it's entertaining to watch.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, hey, it's a train that goes through all this, and essentially humanity's surviving on a train, ladies and gentlemen. With different compartments representing possibly even different classes.
Yeah.
Sometimes quite literally.
Okay. Do you remember the fish scene?
Not off the top of my head.
Okay, because one of the things I've read in articles, it's specifically on Tom Brahan's History of Violence over at the AV Club, is that a kind of a litmus test for your enjoyment of the film is this is the fish scene, for lack of a better term. That's when Chris Evans Rebel Crew confronts this bit of organized resistance at the end of the lower class cars, and it's when the people facing them bring out this fish, and they just gut it in front of him, and they pass it back, and you're wondering what the hell, man? What is this for? And it's one of those, and it's been described as some where it's you look at this and go, okay, it's this makes no sense. You've broken my suspension of disbelief for the film. I'm out. Or you just go, okay, I can see what you're doing right here. It's really weird and all, but I'm willing to go to see where you're going with this. So it's that's one of I mean I mention this because when I saw the film with some friends, one of my buddies, that was his breaking point, for his enjoyment of the film. It's like it's like I kind of I was willing to suspend disbelief in order to keep going with the film, but it's kind of like I bring that up just because that's kind of like it's more like it's the director applying his sensibilities to the story. Um, it's like then it's like rather than just going adapting the source material itself because if anything the movie probably hews closer to the very first Snowpiercer series, which was published way back in the it's like in the early it's like in the early 80s, and it's like it was and it's like it's illustrated by Jean-Marc Rocher and written by Jacques Loeb, and it's basically, and the premise is basically as I just told you. It's like it's a train 1,001 cars long, where the lower class are stuck in the back, in the and the upper class are towards the front. I mean, it's just like society, like in a microcosm, like in a train, and the story gets started when like like when one guy a one of the people who lives in the tail cars named Proloff manages to break his way into the the middle class cars. It's like, and he's held by the and he's detained by the police for inspection. They want to and they also want to find out what's going on in the back cars as well, because hey, we don't care about those tail fuckers. And like what and then it becomes from there begins the like the great virtue of the series, and that's its world building. As we learn from Proloff, it's like that that he's going to be like, when they tell him, "Oh, you're going to be isolated while you figure out whether or not like we want to bring you forward or or what to do with you." And he's like, "Oh my God, it's like you're going to isolate me? I'd kill for isolation after being stuck in with all these people for so long." And he relates a story about this old dude who has a birthday that he wants to celebrate. Back in the end of the trail cars, he's like, "Oh, I want to be left alone for an hour," and then they leave him alone for an hour, and he uses that hour to kill himself. So there you go. It's like it sets up like this societal structure, but also builds on it when he's introduced to Adeline, like this woman from the middle class cars who finds out that, oh, someone from the tail has come in, and we want to find out, what's going on with them. Like, we want to, see how they're being treated back there. We want to make sure that they're being treated fairly and everything. And and from there, it's like, the series is kind of like just basically portrays like this struggle of Perloff and Adeline as one for social justice, to make sure that everyone shows that can everyone be treated fairly in this situation, but also just how are people being able to survive on this train as it's like circling the earth in this on these train tracks, and it explains just how this setup was able to this situation was able to be set up, but also just how they're able to survive from growing vegetables and produce on certain cars, like when even sealing just a couple tomatoes to taste them is an achievement in itself. Or when the military people who are designated to escort Proloff and Adeline to the front of the train for debriefing have to basically fight their way through this through this really constructed microcosm. Of the 3 volumes, this first one, subtitled "The Escape" in its U.S. release, is the most essential. It's also the one that probably hews most closely to the to the movie. It's like if that's what's going for you. Like I said, it sets up this this really interesting this world, does a good job of selling its idea of like this train as being a microcosm for human society, and also just a great job of like raising the stakes as Proloff and Adeline get closer to the front as as things get as tensions escalate, and the question and the revelation that the train is slowly slowing down, and the people up front are considering maybe we should just cut off the tail fuckers, just so we can main, maintain our speed and all. So like it's like there's some really well constructed suspense as the series goes on. In fact, that the it's like the I think that the volume only lets us down at the very end in the final two pages when we see Proloff left to his own devices, and it's kind of like it gets those bits that those final pages get the feeling that Loeb felt that felt that it's like he like he didn't have a definite end for the series, but he just kind of wanted like that it's like he had to do something, and he just wanted to have the cycle perpetuating it, or a sense of genuine helplessness at the end. It doesn't, like I said, it doesn't quite work, but it's like I've read worse wrap-ups than that. In fact, though, it's like it's kind of like contrary to the second volume, subtitled "The Explorers," and well, Snowpiercer is also an interesting series in the sense that of the three proper volumes that have been released, only the artist Rocher has been consistent through all of them. They've all been written by three different people. Volume 2, subtitled "The Explorers," was written by Benjamin Legrand, and it's a different story in the sense that it's like it's more concerned with the idea that of how people in power will manipulate the masses to maintain their power. It's like because it focuses like the main characters are Puig Velez, it's like one of the titular explorers, people who once in a different Snowpiercer, subtitled "The Icebreaker," are sent out to like during breaking tests to explore the world around them and bring back like artifacts in order to interest and appease the upper classes. Now, also on board is Valerie Kennel. It's like daughter of one of the members of the of the ruling council, and her job is to create virtual reality experiences in order to placate the the masses as they go round and round on Snowpiercer. And she's good at her job, but she wants to expand her repertoire of virtual experiences, and so she wants to find out about what do the explorers see? What can we fashion a new world based on what they see as they explore? And so that's what leads her into contact with Puig. It's like, and this it's like, and the story basically also brings into brings up people who believe that Snowpiercer is actually a ship exploring space. They're Cosmosians. One of the key players here is a guy who believes that is a terrorist who believes that that they're in space, and that the only way to regain control is through blowing stuff up. It's like, and it's weird. I mean, it's like there's interesting characters. There's a the general theological idea behind all this, but volume 2 of Snowpiercer doesn't lacks the rigid world building that the first one had to ground this in its to ground the story in its agenda. It does, however, feature a much better ending than the first one, as as they as the icebreaker learns about a signal that's from that's being broadcast well off the prescribed tracks, and how Puig has to convince everyone to eventually just get on board to like, hey, like we can either just keep like circling these tracks, or we can like find out just what the signal is coming from and what it represents. And it's like, because otherwise, what else are we going to do? And it's a nice it's a nice examination of just like, hey, what, it's like, hey, it's not just enough to survive, but you got to live for something. And like in this case, living for something just means finding out the source of the signal. Yes, and then it gets, when they find the source of the signal, it's just a broadcast that was set up on an endless loop. It's just kind of like, it's nothing. Like they risk their lives for a song, and everyone is going to die as a result. And that honestly feels like a really, like, it's a real downer, but it feels like a bleak, uncompromising thing to end on. Just like it takes guts to end a series like on that awful note. But it's like Snowpiercer, like the series up to that point, really wasn't really a happy series to begin with. So ending it there felt, it's like it felt it felt right. And it's like, yeah, it's a downer, but it's like it was definitely true to the series. And it's like when I picked up these two volumes after seeing the movie, I felt okay. Even if the second volume didn't quite live up to the first, it felt this ending, it's like feels right. And if you're gonna end it there, that's cool with me. Well, as it turns out, that's not where they ended it on. A couple of years after the movie came out, we got Snowpiercer Volume 3, Terminus. Now, it's worth noting that Volume 2 came out like about 18 years after the first. Like in between, it was Volume 2 of Snowpiercer was 2 volumes, serialized, published in 1999 and 2000. They're reprinted in 1 volume, thankfully, from Titan Comics for the U.S. release. Volume 3 of Snowpiercer was also, another was 15 years later, and it's like, and it was written, and as you expect, it has another writer, Olivier Bouquet. Rocher is back for this third volume, of course, and while it's worth noting that Rocher's art does, it's interesting to observe this evolution between these 3 volumes. I mean, the first volume has it's really clean and disciplined. There's lots of solid line work, like illustrating, like clearly delineating the characters in the background, just good detailed stuff. Volume 2 has more texture, like more shading, like there's like it almost it's like almost like I don't want to say impressionistic, but there's more. It's more dreamlike, and it's like in its experience. Terminus, it's even more impressionistic than the previous two volumes. If you're familiar with the work of Daniel Zazelle, and his many works for DC Vertigo, along with or what he's done with like Starve with Brian Wood for Image, Rocher's work in Terminus reminds me a lot of Zazelle's here. Now after I just said that, hey, Volume 2 had a really great bleak ending. It's like you're saying, well, how's he gonna upend that? I mean, how do you unpack that as well? Well, to be honest, Bouquet does actually find a find a good way to to work forward from that, and basically has Puig and his crew investigate, just where is the signal being powered from, and eventually, and it leads to a it's like an underground like an underground sanctum that still has power, but also the people who are still on the train are basically revolting at this point after after being led off the rails for so long, and now they're revolting against Val and Puig's like guidance. It's like and but eventually it's like they're taken in by these people wearing mouse masks and working in this like weird underground um it's like environment like like that's like part amusement park, part research center. And it's like if you hear me say like amusement park and people with mouse masks, and you think, wow, this kind of sounds almost Disney-esque. I assure you all, it's just purely coincidence. Disney has no reason to sue the creators of Terminus for this, even if it is really amusing to see what Bouquet is doing here. And to be honest, Terminus is probably the most over the top crazy version of like of Snowpiercer. But it's like after things have been going on like this long, it's like I kind of appreciate that the crazy he brings to he brings to it, and he makes a good and and there's a and he tells like an interesting story about how about whether or not it's like whether against the idea of like whether it's like do you just want to survive or do you want to live? It's as things go as the story goes on. It's like it's a pretty overall it's a pretty compelling tale. Lots of weirdness. Even when compared against the the previous volumes, and even though it's like I kind of take issue with his that there's some parts of the story where he does kind of just psychic powers at a certain point. I think okay, I can see what you're trying to do here, but it's like probably just shouldn't go there. But I still appreciate the fact that he's creating a world where like all versions of Snowpiercer can exist, from the original story, the direct the sequel he's following up on, and the movie as well. Because if you've seen the movie, it's like and you're paying attention to some of the characters that they encounter here, it's like you'll think, ah, okay, yeah, I see what he's doing there. So like it's Terminus, I think it worked. I do think it works as a good closure, as a good final volume for the series. I mean, and the ending isn't as perfectly bleak as the second volume, but I can at least admire Bouquet's efforts to split the difference there, because there are lies in the volume's final pages, but there's also truth. It's like in there as well. It's like that was kind of impressive. I mean, if I'm being completely honest, you can probably just buy the first volume of Snowpiercer and get a good self-contained experience, especially if you've seen the movie and you're just looking like, well, hey, I go, what volume do I need to read in order to get the most experience after I've seen the movie? The answer is just the first one. However, if you want more, then I do think the volumes 2 and 3 are definitely worth it. However, just keep in mind that if you really like the ending of Volume 2, then you may just want to stay there. But if you were disappointed by the ending of Volume 2, then Volume 3 is there as well, and it's gloriously weird as well. So, John, it's like any final thoughts on your end about all this?
Not really, but it sounds interesting for sure.
Yeah, it's like This is published in 3 volumes by Titan Comics in the U.S. Like I said, Volume 1 is The Escape, Volume 2 is The Explorers, and Volume 3 is Terminus.
All right. And what do you know what we're going to be talking about next time?
Okay, well, assuming that the United States Postal Service gets their act together and gets my package out from Long Beach, then I'll be talking about the finale to Charles Soule and Alberto Jimenez Albuquerque's crazy pants science fiction epic, Letter 44, something I've been reading for a good many years now.
All right, and we'll catch you next time on Comic Picks by the Glick.
All right, laters.